Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching The Big Picture with me, Frank Pereira. In the last few weeks, several disturbing incidents centered on the Aadhar database have established the scope for widespread data leakage. Responding to these reports in social media chatter, the Unique Identification Authority of India denied that there has been a breach of Aadhar data or the creation of parallel databases. The government has said that the personal data of individuals in possession of the UIDAI is fully safe and secure, and there is no misuse of Aadhar biometrics leading to identity theft or financial loss. On this edition of The Big Picture, we will analyze if Aadhar data is prone to misuse. Joining me on the program today are Biraj Patnaik, social activist, Virag, Gupta, cyber law expert, Gopal, Krishna, Agarwal, national spokesperson of the BJP, and Vinay, Kumar, senior journalist. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on this edition of The Big Picture. Let me begin first with Biraj Patnaik, of course. Biraj Patnaik, first and foremost, is Aadhar data safe? Should we be concerned with what's happening to the Aadhar data?
Well, I think the question is not whether the Aadhar data is safe or not, because in my view, any collection or compilation of a large amount of data with individual identity and fingerprints is always vulnerable given the increasing technical capabilities of state and non-state actors. No data is safe in the world that we are living today, not even identity data. And this was demonstrated when allegedly the Russian government-backed hackers made public the Turkish database of their unique identities scheme. They also have a unique identification number that has a lot of parameters similar to Aadhar. So therefore, no database can be considered to be safe. It's only safe from one attack to the other, and whoever is monitoring or is maintaining this database rather needs to be completely at the top of their game in ensuring the security of the database, which I'm sure that UIDAI with its technical capability is capable of. But the question is not whether we can secure a database forever, because the cyber attacks on very secure databases of even the American government, the ability of hackers based out of China, based out of Russia, both state and non-state actors to access these at will is definitely a worrying sign. Now, I'm not sure whether the recent incidents that have been highlighted in the media, are they part of a larger pattern of violations, or are these one-off incidents? What I do know, however, is that there may be other concerns about Aadhar related to privacy, the denial of entitlements to people, the forcing of Aadhar on schemes in the Supreme, like the midday meal scheme, when the Supreme Court has requested government not to do that, and so on. Those concerns may be there. But remember that when these recent incidents took place, the Unique Identification Authority was immediately able to pinpoint, particularly in the case involving one particular private bank, that they were immediately able to identify that somebody was using the same system to access authentication from multiple sources at the same time, which should not be possible given the safeguard. So it's reassuring in a sense that they could detect the problem, but it's always a big worry for a country like India, despite our technical capabilities, that when you have a large database like Aadhar, how do you keep this secure?
Indeed. The two very valid points that you made that I want to take forward. No data is safe is something that you said, and several of these incidents that have been reported in the media, are they part of a larger pattern, or are they just individual instances? Virag Gupta, cyber law expert, no data is safe is what Biraj is saying at this moment. But, the Aadhar or UIDAI has come out and said that state-of-the-art technology is used and you don't have to worry about anything. All your data is safe. Would you agree with what he's saying, that no data is safe and there could be a cyber attack somewhere in the near future where this technology is not good enough?
I fully agree with him. First of all, no data is safe, and last week there was a report that data is being sold, and in the 15,000 rupees you can get the personal data of 1 lakh people. There was a report. So first of all, data is not safe, and this has been admitted by the UID also. And my question to UID, that few months back there was RTI to them regarding please disclose that how many breach of data is there, but they are not coming with the breach of the data. So first of all, data can be compromised and the UID data has been compromised. But there are two more aspects are there. The first aspect is the legal aspect and the second aspect is the remedy. Now in the legal aspect, the first is that if any individual's data is compromised, so as per law, there is no remedy to that person that he can directly go to the court. Only UID can go to the court. Now the second lacuna in our law passed by the Parliament in the Aadhar Act, that as per section 43 of the Information Technology Act, now the corporate body corporate is responsible for the upkeep and the protection of all the sensitive personal information. Now here, whether the UID or their agencies, all are responsible and they are liable for the protection of the data, and they are also liable for a breach of the data, and they should be criminally prosecuted. But those type of provisions have not been made in the Aadhar Act. That is a lacuna in our Aadhar Act. And the third is, there is no provision for the compensation also, that if anybody's data is compromised, and then what is the remedy? We are simply following the Western countries, this digital model, but we are not making provisions, because they are in the Western countries or the USA or other places, there is a provision for the huge penalty and the compensation to those companies who are responsible for such breach of the data.
Indeed. Vinay Kumar, I'd like to bring you into the debate now. Do we need this database, that the government is putting together in the form of Aadhar? We've seen in the US they have the social security number. Similar kind of thing is happening here as far as the Aadhar is concerned. Do we need it at this point in time or not?
This was the initiative taken by UPA government, but NDA government led by Prime Minister Modi has continued with it, although they had criticized earlier. But now the moot point is, for the first time, India has been able to create such a big database in a centralized location. So, it also speaks volumes about our credibility, about our, credible environment to procure such data. Number two, India is such a big country that, there was earlier debate when Mr. Advani was Home Minister for a multi-purpose national identity card, MNIC. So, pilot studies were undertaken, and it was also given in some border districts. But then the question came, how do you register your citizens? How do you know how many people are availing of subsidies? How many people are availing of government schemes? So in that way, credit should go to the government agencies that they have been so far able to, for the past 9 years, procure such data, keep it safely. There have been some instances where, issues of privacy and safety have been raised. But it goes to the credit of the government agencies that they have been able to do this. Now the second point comes, when you are linking payment schemes with Aadhar, that is the crucial question.
Yes.
When bank accounts, at least 4.5 crores or nearly 5 crore bank accounts have been linked to Aadhar, have been opened through Aadhar. So what happens if somebody steals your biometric and you suddenly find that your account is cleaned out by using the biometrics? That should not happen. That is the worry. On that score, the UIDAI has assured time and again. And as citizens and as media person, I would like to believe that our data is safe, in safe hands, and the government is taking, and this authority is taking ample precautions to safeguard it from other, such cyber attacks and all. But on the other hand, also, when you see that 32 lakh debit cards have been compromised, and you have seen even political leaders of great stature, their call records have been compromised, have been obtained illegally. So that concern still remains. The government will have to ensure, to assure the citizens that, their data is not going somewhere. Nobody is going to steal this data, but cyber, warfare is a reality now, and cyber attacks have been taking place in most developed nations also. So from this point in time, you need to assure the citizens that nothing is going to happen. But the government has also, saved 49,000 crore rupees over the past 2.5 years by paying subsidies, direct benefit transfer. So this will evolve, I think, and safety will also be evolved. And as UIDAI has assured that they are taking utmost precautions. So I would like to believe that those precautions are in place, and there are enough, as Virag ji was saying. There is what is the remedy open to the citizens? If you suddenly find that somebody has misused your biometrics and your account has been cleaned, where do you go?
Sure.
What are the measures, remedial measures
Indeed. What are the remedial measures? That's something that we'll discuss later on in the program. But before that, Biraj Patnaik, a very valid point that Vinay Kumar is raising with the fact that, that there are so many benefits. There are several pilot schemes that have been carried out as far as Aadhar services are concerned. And they've all said that, so far it's so good. But do the benefits outweigh the risks?
No, I think, I think the debate on whether Aadhar is good or bad and what are the implications on human rights or on access to schemes to the marginalized, that is a separate debate on the benefits of Aadhar versus the disadvantages of Aadhar. I see great advantages, and I also see very many precautions that government have to take in order to not make it exclusionary and to keep it voluntary. But let me not talk about that. I think the important point is that when you do a cost-benefit analysis, the first question you must ask is, in terms of the cost, what is the precautions that you have taken? And I think, unfortunately, in the case of Aadhar, India lost out on a big opportunity to pass data protection laws similar to what we have in the UK or in the US or in other countries which maintain such large databases. And that is the reality. Now, why did we lose out on that opportunity? We lost out on that opportunity because we don't have a societal consensus or even understanding of privacy. Now, of all the Indian languages, how many languages have a word for privacy? How commonly is the notion of privacy understood? Societally, what value do we place on privacy? And because we place so little value, this is a debate that citizens of this country did not force the government to have. Some activists raised it, but it didn't work. Now, the other problem is that privacy also comes at a cost, and that cost is the cost of transparency. Now, our right to information laws, as you know, give citizens wide sweeping powers on gathering information from public authorities on a range of subjects including healthcare benefits received by individuals or cost of their treatment to the exchequer and so on and so forth. And somewhere every society has to decide on what is the balance between privacy and the right to information, and it's a debate that needs to happen in every society in evolving democracy, because in the UK, for instance, if you look at their data protection laws, which are very, very strong, many of those laws, if introduced in India, many of those provisions of those laws would actually hamper the battle for accountability. Sure. But this is something that the privacy advocates and right to information advocates must do much more to debate out and find the equilibrium. What we can say with certainty is that government has, neither the UPA government nor the NDA government has done absolutely nothing to assure citizens of their right to privacy. If anything, the NDA government has actually challenged in the Supreme Court, in a matter that is now before a constitutional bench, the right to privacy, saying that, citing two earlier Supreme Court judgments, and citing them, in my view, were a very bad practice in law because they were very context specific, but there were two judgments of the Supreme Court which said there was no right to privacy in very particular context, which the NDA government cited, and the matter is now being heard by a bench of the Supreme Court. But it would have been so much better if a parliamentary committee had actually looked into this and recommended an act on privacy, which, if such breaches were happening, as happened a couple of weeks back, citizens would then have a recourse of direct compensation or criminal proceedings and actions launched not on their behalf by UADI, but a direct remedy as is available in other countries.
Indeed. I'm going to take the point that you're making to my other panelists as well.
Of that the data is protected and there are, if violations are there, they will be punished, is just not there.
Vinay Kumar, this issue of privacy, of course, always comes up when you talk about data. Do you believe that enough importance has been given to privacy in this country?
No, I don't think so, because the awareness is at a very low level. This is the one instance, and people are not aware of privacy laws and how their privacy can be compromised. How they are open to cyber world. When the moment you enter the world of cyber world, or you enter the world of internet, you are open to so many, you are vulnerable to so many attacks, from apps, from vendors to back-end software technology. All these, you make yourself available to attacks like that. But yes, first there was no awareness about why is Aadhar mandatory. If I don't have Aadhar, will I lose out on something? Will I be not termed as citizen of this country? Then the Election Commission and other agencies have, carried out this awareness campaign that you can even vote. You can check voters list. There are 16 other forms of identity cards, 16 or 18, which are available to a citizen, and it does not take away, or bestow citizenship on you by enrolling yourself as Aadhar. In fact, the Constitution has talked about citizenship register separately, and that was a point of contention even during UPA's time, because Mr. Chidambaram was dead against Aadhar. So, we have evolved, come out of those steps, and now we have such a big centralized database. But certainly, privacy laws are not given that much of importance. Recently, it comes to my mind that Ratan Tata had filed a petition in Supreme Court during Radia tapes controversy, citing the privacy law. Other than that, it doesn't come very often. You don't see these debates happening in media also and in TV discussions also. So, the awareness is low, the law people don't know about these laws. And moreover,
due importance also is not given.
Due importance is also not given. That,
Indeed. Yes, you wanted to make a point, Virag. And also, I have a question for you as well. Someone raised a point about data protection laws. Do we have adequate data protection laws in this country? Is the law in its present, present state good enough?
Let me tell you that there is a lot of misconception about the right to privacy. Whatsoever has been being discussed in the Supreme Court by the Constitution means that is regarding the fundamental right to privacy as per Article 21 of the Constitution. Now, already there is a right to privacy as per the Information Technology Act, as per the, even Justice Shah has recommended in the 2012 regarding the privacy. Now, Aadhar Act may not be containing, but the IT Act, Data Protection Laws, Section 43, all these talk about the data protection, especially the sensitive personal data. The Aadhar data is the sensitive personal data. The problem is, there are three problems. Number one problem is that these provisions have not been included in the Aadhar Act. Number two, Aadhar was passed as a money bill, so it is not giving the corporate entity status to the UID and their other agencies so that they can be held liable and they can be prosecuted. And the third point is that even if the right to privacy may not be the fundamental right, you may not have the option of the going to the Supreme Court or the High Court as per the Article 32 or the 226, but still you have the right to privacy. Now, the biggest problem is that once your Aadhar data is compromised, so like other data, like your ATM data or the bank data, you can change your details. But once your Aadhar data is compromised, that cannot be changed, because all your personal information, all your personal details cannot be changed, and once it is compromised, so there is no other way of, even if you are delisting or you are denotifying or you are blacklisting those companies, but unless you prosecute them as per the IT Act, unless you prosecute them for breach of the privacy as per the IPC, till that time I feel that the all those assumptions, because Aadhar is not going to very old, so we are only assuming, even UID is not replying to the various RTI queries, that how many breaches are there. And many fraudulent websites are there, many fraudulent applications are there, and UID failed to take action against those companies and agencies. So I personally feel that enough data is there, but the basic problem is that awareness is not there and UID is not taking action, and the government is even not following the many various orders of the Supreme Court wherein it has been held that it should not be mandatory. Now, secondly, biggest question is that more than 3 crore people who are not the Indians, they already have got the Aadhar number, and by the way of those Aadhar numbers, they are getting the bank account and other those various legal documents. So what will be the legal status of all those data? So various issues are there. I personally feel that lot of many laws are there, but those are not implemented. Many laws are required, but the parliament and the government fail to execute or implement or the legislate on those issues.
Indeed, indeed. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, national spokesperson of the BJP, also joins us on the debate right now. Mr. Agarwal, is the Aadhar data prone to misuse? At some point in time, do you believe or have you taken into consideration that this data can be misused, and what is your contingency plan?
No, actually, I was hearing the debate. There are 2-3 issues which definitely I want to highlight them. Is the right to privacy is separate, and the data security and cyber securities are two different issues. They have to be tackled at different levels. Whether you have a right to privacy, that is not a question. If there is right to privacy, still when the government has some rights on getting the data, still when the government has a lot of data that has to be secured from cyber frauds or cyber crimes, etc. That's the basic requirement. And when this unique identity authority is itself has come out with a clarification that we have the proper security systems, and even we are upgrading the digital economy or digital India or cyber. There are hacking, etc. Coming up again and again. New methods are coming out. So this has to be completely upgraded, regularly upgraded, and still there are chances for cyber crimes. We see so many, even in advanced countries where there are so many security system features which are considered to be very fine, still there are hacking, international hacking. So this is one area of cyber security which is prone to misuse. That's the government is also aware of it, and it is regularly upgrading. And we should not link with the privacy. Right to privacy. Right to privacy is a quite different issue. Whether even our government, which has the data, has it access, can it use the data for other purposes? That's the right of privacy, and that is a different issue. But at all costs, cyber security is important. Government has said that we are aware, and UDI authority is an independent body which. And you see the counter benefits otherwise also.
Indeed.
Aadhar in itself has created so many benefits to the country. When you are talking of a better transparency or a proper targeted delivery, those things, therefore the government is moving to use Aadhar card more and more into various.
Fair enough. Your point is taken. The government is aware of certain kind of cyber crimes that will happen in the near future, and is constantly upgrading the technology to ensure that it does not happen. I know everybody else also wants to come into the debate. I'm going to start with Biraj first and then go to Virag as well for a comment on what Mr. Agarwal has just said. Biraj, starting with you very quickly, please, because we are out of time.
Yeah. Very quickly, you see, this is the problem. Government is aware, government knows. Advanced country also this happens, this can happen anytime, but we assure these are very vague generalizations, and what citizens want is an assurance which is more categorical, to say that yes, this is how we are dealing with this is the way it is structured, this is why a breach is not possible at this point in time.
That assurance is given by the authority.
What I would say in fact is that the right to privacy is not linked just to Aadhar. It is a much larger societal debate. So I'm not just linking into Aadhar, but should we have a fundamental right or not? That is a question that we must answer, and I don't see any step from the government to answer that.
Okay.
So other than vague assurances like this, what citizens want is I have given away my fingerprint, I have given away my iris scan, I have given away all my personal information, and the only assurance I have is that we are looking into it, UADI is independent.
Your point is taken.
More categorical than that, surely, Frank.
Yes, your point is taken. Mr. Agarwal, I'm going to come back to you for a reaction, because I know you want to respond to that, but before that, Virag also wants to counter with something that you said.
I fully endorse Mr. Agarwal that cyber crimes or hacking, everything is going to happen. I have only 3 questions. Number 1 question is, I'm not talking about the right to privacy. What I'm talking that as per the IT Act, as per the IT rules, there are the data protection rules are there for the sensitive personal information or the sensitive personal data which the Aadhar is. So once that, now the citizens are giving those data to the UID. Now if that data is leaked or disclosed or breached or sold in the open market, then who should be prosecuted? Instead of saying that this is happening as per the law, all those persons who are responsible, they should be prosecuted. Why that law is not? Because once crime is there, chain snatching will be there, murder will be there, rape will be there. Now those persons are prosecuted. You don't say that this is happening. Now in the digital India, if the data is breached, if the data is sold, if somebody's privacy is compromised, so all those responsible persons must be prosecuted.
Sure. Okay, let him respond to that. Respond to that, Mr. Agarwal.
One thing I want to tell you, that government is never denying that there is a risk of cybercrime and loss of data, but it is the UDI authority which is ensuring the country that they have proper security measures. But still, if the crime takes place, then it comes under the criminal activity. Those they have said that where there was a cyber security law was breached and some data was compromised, they have taken action against them, and it was just because of the alert. They found out before the data could be misused, before that could be breached. So ultimately we are saying that we respect the privacy of the individual. Government is responsible for all the data, not only Aadhar data. Every data is important, bank account, your password, everything. But slowly and slowly we are moving to a system where we are using Facebook, Twitter, we are not that much awareness, and creating awareness among the people for the security of their data and using digital economy are which have to move together.
Sure.
If you do not expose people to digital economy, they will not know, will not be aware of those benefits. Still we understand there are benefits. Government is saying there are many benefits. Government has to secure the data. It is responsible. Laws have to be continuously upgraded, and everything, if any loss is taken at any point of time, they will be properly
I have time for one final comment on the program. I'd like to get Vinay Kumar to respond, to say something. Yes, as far, we've come to the end of the program almost. So, but, a final concluding remark from you. What's the way forward? Is there a remedy, better data protection laws? What is the answer?
No, obviously that is one answer, but then the government has to, as I pointed out earlier, the government has to assure the citizens that there are right regulatory environment exists in the country which will prevent this kind of breaches. Because the moment you give out your personal details, you are making yourself vulnerable in that virtual world, in that cyber world, that anybody can come and hack your data and get your details. We have seen it happening in the case of 32 lakh debit cards.
Sure.
And 1.03 crore worth of transactions also took place. Yeah. So these kind of assurances should come from the government and the authorities from time to time, that we are secure, we are safe, and this data will not be compromised at any cost.
Quick word in 10 seconds, Biraj, because I'm out of time.
Yeah, and rather than focus on Aadhar, this should be a much larger thing for every database in this country.
Indeed. Fair enough.
Aadhar is just one. Of course, it's the largest, but there are many databases, banking data, various agencies
privacy,
collecting
prosecution,
data.
compensation.
Indeed. Okay. On that note, I'll have to call it a wrap on this edition of The Big Picture. Biraj Patnaik, Virag, Gupta, Gopal, Krishna, Agarwal and Vinay Kumar. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on the program and putting things into perspective for us. That's all the time we have today. See you again next time.